More people have done that. Hopefully you had better sense than to put it at the bottom of a dead-end street and then wonder why nobody came. So that was my first lesson in entrepreneurship. But in all seriousness, I did actually have another venture before I started Real Tech, and it was a solar heating business. And I actually did this right before my 4th year of university, and I got to participate in something called the Ontario Summer Company Program. And it's a program designed to be able to help entrepreneurs or students explore entrepreneurship. So as though I was extremely passionate about my solar heating business, thought I was going to save the world with my solar panels, I made no money. No money. I learned a hard lesson about profits. You have to kind of have them to be able to stay in business. So despite my company's failure, I did go back to school and change out of all my accounting courses. I thought I'd be a CA, which would have been a disaster for my personality. But I ended up thinking, I want to be an entrepreneur. If I could, I learned so much about myself that summer and through my business. If I could find something that I could get passionate about, that I could feel like I'm making a difference with, and have a business, that would be an absolute dream come true. So thankfully, I was able to start up Real Tech, and I've been doing this now for 10 years. And I don't think at the time that I decided to go through and be an entrepreneur one day and have my own business that I really realized the impact that it can have, specifically to being a woman and wanting to be able to pursue my passions and also take on motherhood at the same time. I saw a woman here with her baby earlier, and I have a 3-month-old at home as well. So when you have, I have 3 children now, but when you try to take on starting a technology company in the midst of having 3 young children at the same time, your worlds will collide in sheer utter chaos. Truth be told, for anybody who knows my life, I got an almost 8-year-old, almost 4-year-old, and my newborn baby at home. So to make it work, I have a playroom at the office. It's a bit of a secret. We have international visitors come all over the place to visit us, and they get the tour. I just kind of keep that door closed. And then, sometimes if you're special, I'll open it up and be like, this is how I make it work. So, however, I also have an office at home, and I can pretty much turn anywhere into an office. I was recently hospitalized for the end of my pregnancy. I had a high-risk pregnancy that I just came out of. And part of being hospitalized, I learned that I could bring my laptop. And I think the nurses all thought I was a crazy lady. Who else would possibly be working in the circumstance that I was in? An entrepreneur. So we find ourselves in those situations. My last pregnancy, I had the longest time off that I've had out of my other 2 children. I remember with my first 2 children, I literally had only days off. And then I was apologizing to customers for my delay in responding as I've been away from the office. They didn't know I just had a baby. That's something I kept under wraps. I had a hard enough time trying to persuade them about my company, that it wasn't a fly-by-night company, that we're serious. I was a young female in a highly male-dominated industry, so I had enough comments of, you're just a girl. So I had to always constantly prove myself and overcome obstacles, so didn't want them to think I was taking on motherhood at the same time. Unfortunately, when my oldest son was born, he ended up having some health issues, which threw me a curveball as to how I was going to possibly deal with my circumstance with him and also run my company. But this is where entrepreneurship can be so beautiful. If I was employed anywhere else, and actually I used to be employed by Scotiabank, I probably could not find an employer who would put up with the amount of time I would have to be off to deal with my son's health issues, take him to his doctor's appointments. And what made it all work was the fact that I was an entrepreneur. I could have that flexibility, I can have that independence, and I can do both at the same time. However, it came at some sacrifices, a lot of really, really late nights. You learn how to work with sleep deprivation. If you don't watch much TV, except for Dragon's Den, then that kind of helps you out. So in all seriousness though, you also put your health on the line when you're trying to do your business, the sacrifices that you make. I actually got pneumonia, and I was up for the, as a finalist for the RBC Canadian Women Entrepreneur of the Year Award. I was very excited. But the video shoot for the finalist happened while I had pneumonia. And I was advised, do not go. Don't go. You can't. You're too ill. I was like, oh no, I'm going. I am giving me a challenge, I'm gonna go. So, I think overcoming challenges and obstacles is part of our entrepreneurial spirit, so there's no way I'm missing this. So I went, fever, antibiotics, everything, like puffers. I wish I could see the blooper reel from that moment because I couldn't breathe. I mean, I was like, hi, I'm Jodi Glover. And then I almost took out the entire camera crew when it was all said and done. It paid off, but at the same time, I would not recommend it. In all seriousness, I really would not recommend it. So what is it about us as entrepreneurs that make us do crazy things like this, and what are the attributes or what are the virtues that I've learned, at least from building my business, and you probably all have your own, that have done me a service in helping me succeed with Realtech? I think I could go on forever and have a chat with all of you about everything. So, but there's pretty much 4 that I want to talk about today. You have to be adaptable. You got to have persistence. You got to have that in spades. You got to be disciplined, especially financially disciplined and self-disciplined, because you got to motivate yourself. There's no one else going to do it for you. And you have to have perspective. So looking at adaptability, when I started Realtech, I had to do everything, as you probably do if you start a business, wear all the hats. I mean, from sales, marketing, HR, finance, exporting, manufacturing, soldering circuit boards, dealing with customer issues, you name it, you do it. There's no task at Realtech that I haven't done. So you got to be adaptable, but not only as an individual, but as a corporation. And this is where entrepreneurs have the best opportunity. If you keep yourself adaptable, the larger corporations, their left hand can't talk to the right hand, and they can't keep innovative. So we have an amazing opportunity to foster innovation if we keep ourselves adaptable and open to the holes that are in the marketplace, those little niches where we can fill, where we can start, and where we can start to build our business. And that's been successful for us to keep in mind. You know, if you think about when you're building a business, you have a vision, you know where you're going, and you've got your plan, you've got your business plan, you know how you're gonna get there. But if you're not adaptable and you're going along and then, you hit a roadblock, are you gonna sit there in traffic and kind of wait it out, or are you gonna try to be adaptable and find a new path to keep you on track? So it's really important. Next, persistence. I mean, you have to have persistence. It is really easy to run a company that's always going up, but Lord knows that is not the way things work. And if you've read Arlene's book, All In, it's a roller coaster ride. It's got highs and it's got lows, and when something's bound to happen, and when it does, your persistence, which will make all the difference in the world. For me though, if you need to be persistent to be able to overcome those challenges, you gotta have passion for what you're building. You gotta be able to really feel and believe that you're making a difference, or whatever it is. As Arlene pointed out, each of us have a role, we're all important. So if you are enjoying what it is that you are doing, having that persistence to get you through those hard times will make all the difference in the world. Next, financial discipline, or discipline in general. But I actually grew Realtech without angel investors like Arlene there. They call them dragons, but we all know them as angels and venture capitalists. So growing Realtech the old-fashioned way, literally, like I had to grow it from my pockets, and you can see I don't have any in this dress at least, but growing Realtech the old-fashioned way, it meant that we had to take everything that we possibly could have, and as we grew and we took profits, we put them back into business. To grow the profits, put them back into business, and had to grow that old-fashioned way. And it's not right for every company, and there's a lot of reasons why you're going to go out and get capital and such. No matter which way you grow your business, with somebody else's money invested or your own money invested, you have a responsibility to keep financially disciplined. And that's been really important for our success, because keeping that in mind has allowed us to be able to keep in business. So you need to be able to have that discipline. And I've had so many entrepreneurs come to me and say, I want to start a business. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to be rich, and I'm going to buy this awesome yacht, and I'm going to have all this free time. And I tell them, don't do it. Don't. I haven't even heard what your business is about. You're just so fixated on they might be future Kevin O'Leary's, I don't know. But, you've got to be able to have that persistence to keep yourself going, and that passion and that discipline. And so, really think about what it is that you want to do. If you have something that you're passionate about, you see a hole in the marketplace, you keep yourself adaptable, you keep persistent, you're going to achieve success. And last point, perspective. Being a mother and doing Realtech has given me incredible perspective, as I think Arlene talked about it as well. And I know that if I just trip and fall and you guys are falling asleep and everyone's walking out and just like, wow, that Jodi chick. So I have perspective to know that it's not the end of the world. Things will go on. It helps to keep things small, and keep you focused on what you're doing. So if you have perspective, it allows you to take a chance, put yourself out there, and you never know where it will take you. So entrepreneurship for me, as many of you, with all the highs and the lows, I would not have it any other way. So if you are starting your new venture right now, or you're thinking about starting one, I just say cheers to each of you, and I wish you the most success in the world. Cheers.